Okay. LinkedIn is best known for its vanilla posts about job changes, motivational messages. It's a professional network for sharing information. Our guest today is adding some color to that network, and with all of her daily videos and commentary. Very few people have the courage that she does to get out in front of her audience the way she does. So I'd like to welcome our guest today, Jodi Barrett, the CEO of Kettlebell Kickboxing Canada. She's going to talk with us about building a fitness empire one trainer at a time. Welcome, Jodi.
Thank you for having me.
It's great that you're able to be here today. Tell us a little bit about yourself and Kettlebell Kickboxing Canada.
Kettlebell Kickboxing Canada? Well, it started in 2017. It is a fitness program that takes the Russian kettlebell with martial arts motion.
Okay.
So, yeah, you get to train a little bit of cardio, strength, and mobility all in one.
Okay, so tell me about the other disciplines, because that's not something that I'm familiar with at all.
So the different martial arts?
Yeah.
So we actually just did the last 4 Tuesdays, we did like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So they do a lot of mobility training for their art. So we take a lot of motions from that. So we just incorporate different things that functionally would help somebody in their day-to-day living.
Okay. How do you have all of that knowledge? I can go out and I can throw a baseball and I can hit a volleyball, because that's something that I learned as a youth and as a teen. So how do you have all of that knowledge?
Well, I wouldn't say I would never sit down with the martial artists and tell them I have more knowledge of them. Absolutely not. That's why we say it's the motion of it.
Okay.
The co-founder of the company is deeply immersed into martial arts. So she built a program around that. So we just, some of the names are, when you notice in exercise, different names kind of evolve.
Okay.
So, yeah, so we teach our trainers to have the basis of all of that. We always encourage them, to, if they're, interested in that other aspect, to go down that road a little bit more too.
So trainers can develop a certification with kettlebell kickboxing, but then they can also extend their training to include some of the martial arts as well.
Absolutely. I would always encourage them. I'm always telling them to take as many different classes, not even necessarily martial arts, but, I think there's something to be learned in every kind of classroom setting.
Absolutely. Well, not even necessarily in a classroom setting, but any activity. Pick up a new sport, you're going to develop a new muscle, you're going to develop, a brain muscle to go along with it. And the body has great muscle memory. It's so much easier to go back to something you know or have done before, and you pick it up again so quickly, compared to, okay, I'm going to learn a whole new sport, right? And I tease my kids all the time. My son is a skater. He plays hockey, and I skated for years, but honestly never really enjoyed it. And so he gets me out on the ice every once in a while and laughs at me. He's like, Mom, I can't believe this is all you can do. Yeah, okay, buddy. So you're 11 and I'm a little older than you, but you've actually been on skates a lot more recently than I have. So we have a joke in our house that I prefer my water when it's defrosted and in a swimming pool, and everybody else at home tends to prefer their water frozen and on a sheet of ice so they can skate on it. So, yes. And you've heard my stories. I much prefer the beach environment.
Yes, well, I'm kind of inclined to go there too also.
Exactly. So, Jodi, what made you pick all of this up?
Well, if we go way back, not too far back, I'll give you the Coles version.
Okay.
I got separated in 2013, so I'd stayed at home for 13 years of my life, and I have a degree in kinesiology, and so, I was, like they say, when something hits you hard, you search for something, right? And I just thought, I didn't feel like I was the regular 9-to-5 job kind of person, and always into fitness. So I was doing kettlebells with some friends, and I got a certification here in the city, and I was like, it's good. It was really good, but I was like, you want more knowledge. You want to. I felt like it needed to take it somewhere further, and took a Muay Thai class with a friend of mine, and then I actually come across Kettlebell Kickboxing on Instagram.
Ah, okay.
And, I wanted to get certified, but I was like, at the time I was thinking, okay, I'm going to think big outside the box. So I messaged her and I'm like, okay, I'm going to come get certified.
Okay.
I'm flying to New York. But I said, I want to work for you.
Wow. Fly to New York. Okay, that's, yeah, put this in perspective. That's huge.
Yeah, so I had a lot of people tell me I was crazy and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I was like,
If you don't take a risk, and you can't reap the reward.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know what is something in my gut that I was like, when I was on the plane, even because I didn't really even fly or travel by myself.
Okay.
So
wow.
Even my mom's like, can I come with you? And I'm like, no. Like, I totally wanted to be uncomfortable for 7 days.
Got it.
And I was.
I don't doubt it at all.
But I never ever felt like I was doing something that I wasn't supposed to be doing.
Okay.
So it was always like I was on the right path.
Exactly. It just felt right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was your U.S. counterpart then? Because you're KBK Canada, so they're the U.S.?
Yeah.
Okay. So how big is it in the U.S. at this point? Any idea?
Well, she's been doing it for over 10 years now.
Okay.
So.
And how many years have you been working at it?
2 years and 3 months.
But who's counting, right?
About that side, kind of, sort of.
You notice she didn't say like days and hours.
I didn't add minutes, so.
Very good. Okay, so you headed down to New York and you're going to do your certification. And so you had a huge learning curve. What happened in those 7 days? What transformed for you that said, I'm ready to come back and take on Canada?
Right. I think the biggest thing was just being uncomfortable and being okay with it. Like, she threw out to me the second day, she's like, so do you want to teach class on Saturday? And I was like, right before I even thought about it, came out of my mouth, yes. And as I'm walking back to my hotel later, I'm like, okay,
what did I just commit to?
But then in the bigger picture, I was like, why not? Why wouldn't I? And what's worse that could happen? Like,
exactly. I can't imagine that she was leaving you stranded. Like, I'm sure she was in the class or another trainer was there.
I think if she was.
Or, and maybe she wasn't. And it's like, she was obviously comfortable with your skill set by that point in time. So she had confidence that you were going to be fine.
Yeah, so it was, so I did that, and actually I went to a basketball game. I always wanted to go to an NBA game. I rode the train by myself, and I went to the game, and it was kind of funny story there that the lady beside me, about halfway through the game, she kind of looks at me funny and leans over, and she goes, you must really like basketball to come by yourself. And I was like, yeah, it was just, but it was all just, I wanted to do it alone. And I don't know if I had to prove to myself that I could do it, or just something about, I just want to do it. So I came back, and when I went down 3 months later is when she phoned me 3 days before, and she said, do you want to do the Canadian region?
Oh, okay. So when you originally went down, it was really just, as you said, to work for her.
So I came back and worked
be a trainer
for 3
in
months
Canada.
for her. Yeah.
And then she asked you to kind of spearhead the region. Oh, wow. Okay, so what a cool opportunity then.
Yeah.
Right?
Like,
okay, so when you came back from this trip, and I'm actually kind of going back to a personal experience in my life.
Yeah.
When you came back from the trip, did you find that having done all of this on your own, away from your home setting, the kids are gone, families, not, well, they're a phone call away, but they're not immediately available. Did you find that from a growth perspective that you were in a really different place?
Yes.
You're a different person when you came back.
And I actually found when I came back, I found a pull to go back there. Because I found that the mindset that I was there within, I just craved it. Like, because everyone thought so big.
Yes, okay.
So when I come back to just what I would normally do, I felt like, I got to keep that energy level up if I'm going to take it to where I want to take it.
Exactly.
So I made myself a deal that I would go back there at least once a year.
Okay.
Just if anything.
To recharge your battery.
Then grab some of that energy and bring it back with me.
So how many times have you been to New York now then? 3 or 4?
I think I want to say 6.
6. Okay. No, that's so tell me, like, what do you love about that environment? What, as you say, pulls you back there every time?
I think the energy, the dream big, you can accomplish anything if you really want to do it, you can.
Yep.
You just have to start, right?
Right. Exactly. How many trainers do we have in Canada now?
We have 34.
Oh, wow. And across Canada, coast to coast?
Across Canada, coast to coast. And we actually started like a kin program. So where the trainers, because my biggest thing, when people walk away from a certification, I always felt like, you get certified, you leave, and goodbye, and that's all you ever saw of them, right? And because I was building a brand, I kind of wanted to know how everybody was doing. I wanted to help them along on their journey.
Right.
So we started the KIN program last May.
Okay.
So we actually have a couple of the trainers from the U.S. that have come on board with us too, and they've come up to our trainers weekend, and so it's just a good way to keep everybody connected and growing together.
Explain the concept of a KIN program. What does that mean?
Oh, so it's like KIN is family, tribe.
Got it. Okay. KIN in the sense that we traditionally think of it for family.
Yeah,
so you guys are creating a KBK family.
Absolutely.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. And do they do something like that in the U.S., or this was totally your initiative to try and keep trainers?
This is my baby.
Yeah. Okay. And that's a great idea, because you're right. When you get out there after you've done any kind of training program, you get out there, you start practicing, start doing your own thing. And especially, as you say, because you're trying to build a brand, it's really easy for that brand to become diluted.
Yes.
Right? Do your trainers need to come back on an annual basis to sort of renew their certification, or what does that certification look like?
Yeah, so we have our trainers weekend, so it's recommended you at least, I know everyone can't make them all, that's why we have more than one. So then we come back and we all, like whenever I do a certification in, say I go to Calgary, I always invite my current trainers back to the certification. So they can always, they come back, they don't pay to come back for the second time. It's just, it's good for them to practice and keep their knowledge up, and I can touch base and we can,
build
connect.
a relationship, build the KIN program.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, continue to do that. Okay, so lots of folks, especially this time of year, people are very conscious. They're, getting healthy. They're getting back to the gym. Do you have a number of new clients coming out this time of year?
Yeah, usually I find it doesn't start till the end of January, beginning of February. That's where I find it. So I do find that people have a little break from after Christmas.
Okay.
So, and then, yeah.
So what would you say to someone who, they call you up out of the blue and they're like, "Hi, Jodi, I heard about your program on Instagram. I want to learn more about it. I haven't been to the gym in 10 years. What do you say?"
Well, I always tell them that they're always welcome to come join us, and we do offer a Monday to Wednesday beginner program later at 7 to 8 at night, just because there are some people that aren't 100% comfortable coming into a class where they know people have been training for a long period of time. So we run that also, just as a, give people a couple options of what to do.
Yeah, exactly. And so you've got the beginner program, the couple of evenings, and then otherwise the mainstream, the traditional.
Our regular class times.
There we go. The regular class times. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how many people usually come out for a class?
We have about 18 to 20.
Yes. So anyone who has followed you on Instagram knows that you do a ton of videos, or on LinkedIn, right? That's actually originally where I found you, was on LinkedIn. And as I say, if you've seen Jodi's videos on LinkedIn, you know that she's bringing a lot of color to what is very typically a bland environment. And I give you a lot of credit, because even though you're doing fitness videos, they could be done, I'll say, raunchy style, but you are keeping it, above the fold. No pun intended. But she's really keeping it above the fold. And when somebody decides to make a comment that's maybe, a little too colorful or a little too suggestive, Jodi shuts it down right away. She doesn't hesitate at all. So for anyone who has seen your videos out there, they know that you're doing a ton of different stuff. And why do you do that? I mean, somebody could probably go through your videos and get a whole class out of that. So why are you doing that? What's the end game, the end value for you?
Well, we put out, that is something that we think about a lot, because we're like, you put out so much content. And I've had people say, well, I just, if I don't make it to the gym, I just pull up a video or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But it's a way to reach people and connect people, show them proper form. Not because not every, realistically, not everybody's going to come train with me. Not everyone's going to like it.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
I think more of just connecting personally and just, sharing knowledge. And eventually, if they enjoy it, they'll come on board either on our live stream or one-on-one, or get certified. So.
Exactly. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the live stream, because that's a new program that you have. And in fact, you and I had a conversation about it yesterday. You can participate in Jodi's classes via the live stream. And, you know, if you can't get out of the house because, you know, you're at home with the kids, or you're just not ready to get out of the house, it's a great way to participate. So tell me about some of the folks that are using the live stream.
Yeah, well, I have some friends that are moms that have little ones, and they're like, I just can't get out right now.
Yes.
You know, and then I had some people that from out of town that, you know, they're not here, but they want to train. Some people down in the States. My interesting story was I had a gentleman, he followed me from Iran. And he was so excited because he's like, his sister bought him online for him as a gift. And so he messaged me and he was like, I'm so excited, Coach Jodi, I get to train with you. And so I'm like, all right, this is awesome. So it turned out he couldn't get the high speed where he was. So we're going to figure out something for him. But his sister now, who got it from, she's training down in Texas with us. So.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so have you ever been out in public, you're at an event, you're at a coffee shop, and somebody goes, hey, you're Jodi, I recognize your voice, or I recognize you from your videos. Have you had that happen?
I have, actually. And you know what is funny about that? Because I met someone in the airport, and he trains with me now. And he's amazing. I always tell people, if you see me, come say hi. Because I do get people who send me messages like, I saw you today, but I was nervous to come say hi. And I'm like, please, just...
Exactly.
I feel like I'm very approachable, so just come say hi and connect. So
exactly. I remember the first time that happened to me after I had started the Secret Life show, and I was just coming out of a yoga class, one of those hot yoga classes, and so you know you're drenched in sweat, you're just covered, and we're putting our boots on. It was probably January or something, and this lady comes up to me and she's all like, "Hey, you're Barb." I was just like, "Oh, this is weird." Right? But at the same time, I was like, okay, that is so cool. A, you felt comfortable to come and talk to me because I love that. Absolutely. Come and talk to me. Tell me about your business. And, you know, maybe we want to talk about being on the show. B, yay, you're listening to the show. You're following the show. Right? So it's a really cool moment as a business owner to go, somebody is out there paying attention. Right? So it was awesome. Yeah, absolutely. So where do you see your industry, the fitness industry, like where is it going? There seems to be a real fracture out there, where it used to be, you know, get your gym membership, you can swim, you can go spin on a bike, you can go jump around and do some aerobics, but we're really seeing some concentration in terms of there's KBK and there's a number of other varieties out there. So where do you think this is all heading?
Well, it's all, you know, I think you always have to evolve, right? Because it's always going to change. I couldn't sit here today and tell you what this is going to look like in 10 years from now, because things will change as we go. I do think people are craving a sense of a community. Like,
I agree wholeheartedly.
When people come into my gym, my clients are amazing that they, you know, it's one thing for me to welcome people in, right? Because that's a one-on-one thing. But when I have clients walk through the door, and I have clients that will go directly up to and introduce themselves and make them feel welcome on the mat, is just a huge, huge thing.
Yes. And you know what? I'm glad that you brought that up, Jodi, because I had a chance to go to a couple of classes in December and January, and community is one of the things that I have found really hard to replace. So I'm coming from a gym where community was the be-all, end-all, and a lot of gyms speak that language about community, but they're not necessarily putting it in place. There is no community that goes along with it. And even though I was only able to attend a few classes, the people that I met and the people that I saw, you know, sort of time and time again, over and over, absolutely, they came up, they introduced themselves, they weren't afraid to make eye contact. And that eye contact piece is something that so often in a gym, nobody makes eye contact, right? They're there, they're going to do their workout, do their thing, and they almost want to avoid human contact.
Right.
And it's like, we're all conditioned to, you know, talk to people, and we're not going to fight. Exactly. So I agree wholeheartedly. That is something that you've done incredibly well. And I kudos to you for doing that, because, you know, as the leader there, you're absolutely the driving force behind that. Yeah. So if somebody does want to, you know, sort of learn more about you, come out and try a class, quickly give us, you know, kind of the high level. Where do they find you? What's your Instagram account? Give us the once over.
All right. So Instagram, Kettlebell Kickboxing Canada, which is also Facebook, Kettlebell Kickboxing Canada. I'm trying to think. Website is also kettlebellkickboxingcanada.com. I always say when you send an email, it's that long, Kettlebell Kickboxing Canada.
That is a long email.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
I have experienced that a couple times in the last couple weeks.
That's my marketing pitch right there. I'm like, you'll never forget it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
okay, so you're pretty easy to find online and you're out there all the time. If somebody was to be Googling a service, how are they going to find you?
You Google, I'm thinking when I'm going there, anything with kettlebell comes up, kickboxing comes up, kettlebell kickboxing.
Okay. So I challenge you, of course, my hat is typically marketing, but think a little bit broader, because you're a solution, but what's the problem I'm trying to solve when I'm going to find you? Because if I just search fitness Regina, I'm going to come up with tons of options. So what's the problem you solve that might be a little bit different than some of the others out there?
So as far as why would you come train with me versus the others?
Yeah.
I think because it's a whole program. Like I hate to say that's not a whole program for someone, but we train the pillars, all the human movement pillars. Sometimes you go into class and they'll just do push-ups and more push-ups. When, if you want a well-rounded program, you want all, like the push, the pull, you know, your rotation, your level changes.
Yep.
So, and people always say, well, don't you have one day where you just train legs? And I'm like, well, no, because for a couple of reasons.
First off, it's a kettlebell.
And if someone comes in on a Monday and trains with us, but they miss the Tuesday, they're missing part of the whole, training the whole body.
Right? Exactly.
And, you know, it goes back to the saying is when you walk down the street and lift something, you don't just use your legs or your arms, you use everything. So it's really functional and it's fun.
Yes, exactly. And that's a huge part of it.
Yes.
You can have the best training program out there, but if it's not fun, you're not going to keep people, right? That's why kids enjoy sports, because they're fun. They're just playing at a different level. And so being able to find something as an adult that it's like, this is just fun to do, right? It can be really tough to find that. How do you market yourself?
How do I market myself? Oh, I market all the time, every day. So we brand, so there's difference. Like I've learned this through my growing as a business owner, the difference between branding and marketing and sales, right? So we work on a little bit of targeting what our market is, right? Now, I'm pretty fortunate here that, should I say fortunate or not, but my class range is from like 18 to 72 right now.
Oh, to 72?
Yes, so my client that came to me in Jamaica she's 72.
Wow,
Talk
good
about
for her.
So I'm always like, anybody can train. Honestly, anybody can train. You just need to be determined to do it. When people come up to me, they'll say, I don't think I train with you. And my answer back usually is probably not, because you already think that you can't.
So there's a mental block there.
So the minute you go, I can do it, I'm going to do it,
I'm
going to come, changes completely.
Yes. That's so true.
As I jet off to another thing, I always do that often, but we just market to, you know, word of mouth is a great tool that we use here in the city. And just marketing, Facebook's a great marketing tool.
Yeah, Facebook and Instagram.
And LinkedIn
you
is
use
huge
them
too.
Yes, a ton. Are you sharing the same content on all three platforms? I haven't looked that closely. Okay.
Try to change it a little bit. That's something that I have to do, but right now just because there's me and all these
me, myself, and I. You have three people.
We have three of me that, you know, all
so how do you balance it all then? So talk about that, because you're training at 5:30 and 6:30 and 7:30 at night. I know when I've texted you for the show, you're responding, you know, first thing in the morning. So how do you balance it all? Plus there's still some kids in there that aren't like off on their own. Yeah,
well, balance is something I'm working on. Like,
excellent.
I don't know, like, I'm like, that balance is like juggling I always say balance is juggling what's necessary in the moment.
Okay.
Right? My biggest thing right now is trying to balance a Sunday off of work. And it doesn't always happen, and my thing I'm working on too is not beating myself up when it doesn't happen. So, yes. How old are your kids now? 19, 17, and 14.
Okay, so they're much closer to independence.
Yeah, they're very independent.
Right? Yeah, exactly. They're very close, and I would suspect that your 19-year-old is pretty much just doing their thing and checking back in with mom every once in a while kind of thing, right? And are all three still at home, or has the 19-year-old moved out?
No, still there.
Okay. So, you've still got, you know, groceries to buy, food, cleaning. Yeah, no, the whole bit, right? So that it's an audacious goal, taking a Sunday
they
off.
are with their dads too, so and the girls, we like back and forth, so.
Okay. And I suppose the 19-year-old just goes where they
Oh,
want.
yeah,
And,
he's just,
yeah.
he's like, we do Sunday suppers, and he's like, kind of friends? You got friends? I'm like, I get it. I was 19 too.
That's always funny to me, because, yeah, absolutely, like, they've got friends and they do their thing. But they still have to eat.
Yes.
Right? They
Yes.
still have to eat. Jodi, I've been very neglectful. We actually only have about a minute and a half left. Is there anything else that you'd like to throw in here before I wrap up the show?
Oh, I think just if you're ready to come give it a try, either, there's so many different platforms, so many different things you can train online, in class. You want to get certified. Like, there's just options for everyone.
There's options for everyone. Exactly. All right, that is pretty much time. So I'd like to thank everyone for joining us here today on 91.3 CJATR Regina Community Radio for the Secret Life of Entrepreneurs. And a huge thank you to you, Jodi, from Kettlebell Kickboxing Canada, for joining us today to talk about your passion, your energy. This woman's energy just like exudes from her, and sharing a little bit of your secrets. So building a more fit world, sort of one person at a time. And that's a wonderful, audacious goal. So I'm going to be back for my next show with Richard from Green Mache. And his company is building environmentally friendly, biodegradable, disposable dinnerware. So yes, think about that. Environmentally friendly, biodegradable, disposable dinnerware. They're made from areca leaves. So it's some great big plant leaf. Anyway, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, you can email me at barb@googlegirl.ca or just reach out on Facebook and Instagram at AboveTheFold.ca. Just a reminder, you can even submit questions in advance of the live show on our Facebook page. I'm your host, Barb McGrath, local business owner and Google Girl. Remember, you worked hard for your success. Don't keep it a secret. Bye for now.